like to call this meeting to order, our regular city council meeting to order. City clerk, will you please take roll?
Councilmember Ashton?
Present.
Councilmember Frometa?
Present.
Councilmember Saab?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Pacheco?
Present.
And Mayor Rodriguez.
Here. At this time, I'd like our planning commissioner, Noveris Prometa, to please join us in the invocation.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you, Lord, for today, Lord. We thank you for everyone gathered here today, Lord. We thank you, Lord, for our great city, Father, and the council that represents our city and everyone that is here present, Lord. And we are grateful and very thankful, Lord, for our police force, our fire department. And Lord, may your will be done always, Father, in that the correct decisions be made for the best interest of our city, Lord. And we pray for a great evening today, Lord. In your name, amen.
Amen.
And now with the flag salute, keep it in the family.
Okay, can we please put our hands over our heart? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. City council members, announcements, requests for future agenda items, conference meeting reports. Can you please start reporting out, starting with my big little brother at the end, Alex Saab.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Welcome, everyone. Nice to see so many familiar faces. I do want to invite many of you who have not been here before. There's agenda in the back, and we do have the little QR code on the top right-hand corner. I know some people don't realize we have that. You can scan your phone, and everything will be uploaded onto your phone, and you can follow along. Before a couple announcements, I do want to recognize a few people in the audience. As you heard earlier, our planning commissioner, Noveris Frometa, in the audience. Thank you, Mr. Frometa. And also representing the Downey Chamber of Commerce in the back there, hiding, is Michael Calvert, Executive Director. Thank you, Mr. Calvert. Want to thank everyone that participated this past Saturday at the TLC Walk out of Apollo Park. It really was a community effort between Public Works, did a great job as always, Parks and Rec, Fire, Police. We had our mounted police unit there. I know one of our captains in the back and was able to participate. We appreciate that very much. And it's a very worthy cause. I think there were 1,300 runners. I think Councilman Ashton came in at a close first amongst the council.
I actually came very close.
Very
No, I
close.
actually came in third.
They didn't finish, is what I was trying to say.
I'm just getting over
Some
it
of us
now.
crossed the finish line.
So I think Councilman Ashton is the third-year reigning champion here. So maybe next year, the mayor will step up and catch up there.
Yeah.
Anyway, but thank you all for coming. We also had Downey Military Day, and I want to thank our mayor and a few people that were involved, our school district. That was last Saturday. I'm sure our mayor is going to talk about it a little bit, but it was a great event to, I think one of the speakers said it was all about options, informing the students options they have. It was, I want to thank Calvary Chapel for hosting that. Some of the upcoming events everyone is invited to Thursday, the Downey Chamber of Commerce having their anniversary lunch. I was surprised to see there's one particular member is getting recognized with 73 years. I think it's one of the grain, I can't think of the name right now, but Leach Grain Company. So a great event to recognize many contributions of the businesses in our community, and also they're going to be announcing the Small Business of the Year and Large Business of the Year. And then Friday, the Downey Roseford Association is having a murder mystery dinner at the Elks Lodge. That's Friday at 6 o'clock, I believe. And then don't forget, March 14th, next week, or 2 weeks from now, Gangs Out of Downey is having their annual lunch at 11:30 on March 14th at Rio Hondo. It's the biggest fundraiser of the year one of the biggest fundraisers of the year for the organization. and everyone is invited. I do want to make a comment. I know there's been a lot of talk about coyotes in the community, and believe me, the council is very, very much aware of it. You know, we are doing things to remedy it. I know there's many people in the community are having a lot of questions and concerns. And having said that, hopefully everyone is aware that we are having a town hall community coyote community meeting here in this chamber on April 2nd at 6:30. So everyone is invited to come and attend. And then we also have a very robust webpage that talks about some of the things that we can do as a community, because a lot of it does have to do with our, you know, we as residents, as citizens, doing our part to remedy the situation as much as possible. And having said that, the only thing I want from staff, if we can have in the next few months a State Gallery come and just give an update on some of the things that have been going on there. I know it's been a while since we've heard from them, and I think they have a new director now. I think it's important that we get an update just to make sure, since the city is, we are partially funding that, it's important that we get an update on that. And that concludes my comments, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. And moving on to Councilwoman Frometa.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. I want to welcome all of you to our council meeting. It is important for us to be here and know what is happening in our community, so thank you. Once again, I do want to welcome Michael Calvert with the Chamber, and Mr. Roy Beard with Kiwanis and the Chamber as well as my husband, who happens to be Planning Commissioner Noveres Frometa. Thank you for being here. In my upcoming Commissioner for Public Works, Mr. Dan Fox, and his wife, Debbie. He's also Dr. Dan Fox from Fox Chiropractic. So thank you. Starting with some announcements or things that I've been involved in the last couple of weeks. I attended the Executive Education Forum at USC on public policy for elected officials, February 15th and 16th. As Councilmember Saab mentioned, we did have a successful turnout for the Healthy Downey TLC 5K. And once again, I want to recognize Pam and Director of Public not Public Works, but Parks and Rec, as well as Public Works and our police and fire for everything that is done to make this event successful for our community. I spent also the latter part of the day on Saturday hanging out with a very cool crew, and that is Fire Station number 4 and Captain Steve Davis and his crew. They were delightful. We shared dinner, but I also had an opportunity to go on a run with them, on a ride along. And I've got to tell you, folks, that we are really, this community is really blessed to have first responders. And of course, we've got our police officers right here, but certainly firefighters that are so committed to this community. And we had great conversations, and I look forward to continuing my ride-alongs with other fire stations as well as with members of our police force. One of the things that I think we're all very encouraged is with the upcoming renovation and reconstruction of our fire department in the different firehouses, thanks to Measure S. And so I think everybody is very excited about that, and we look forward to when that time comes. The Neighborhood Watch programs, as we know, we have about over 240 active Neighborhood Watch programs throughout our community. And if you are not part of one, please contact our police department. I know we have somebody there that is coordinating and that knows where these Neighborhood Watch programs take place. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to attend one of them. We attend as many as we can throughout our community. They don't only need to happen in my district, but throughout. I think this is important to engage with our residents and find out what is happening. And again, communities are not perfect, but when we come together and we engage with our neighbors and find out what we can do to keep our neighborhoods safe, that is the best alternative to not having a safe community. So please, I encourage you to discuss what are some of the measures going on in your immediate neighborhoods. One of the things that I would like, as Councilmember Saab mentioned, if you are concerned or if you have issues regarding the coyote situation, please join us on April 2nd at 6:30. And also, one of the other things that I would like to encourage you to do is to get involved in our Keep Downey Clean and Keep Downey Beautiful. And these happen every second Saturday of the month. And the next one is happening on March 16th at 9 a.m. And this is going to happen at Independence Park. Last but not least, I'd like to, if we can take a look at, I know we've had a plan for changing our street signs, and I know there are some areas, and I know we discussed that recently. There are some areas between, south of Gallatin, between Brookshire and Downey, that still need to be taken, be looked at. If you can really follow up with that, that would be great. And that, Mr. Mayor, concludes my comments for the evening.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Moving on to Councilman Sean Ashton.
Good evening, everyone. Over the past couple weeks, actually right after our last council meeting, I actually hopped on a plane to go up to Sacramento for our SCAG, Southern California Association of Governments legislative advocacy trip, which we were in Sacramento on Wednesday. That would have been Wednesday the 13th. Met with our, both our Assembly member Cristina Garcia as well as our State Senator Bob Archuleta and a few others that they toured us around. And the big push for that was housing and some of the threats that have been coming down with suing cities for not implementing certain housing things. And I understand that there are difficulties with getting housing for those people that need it, but I don't think using the stick is the best way to do it with the cities. I think if you provide the carrot as opposed to the stick, so to speak, that you're going to get a better response from cities to work on their housing plans. With that said, we also had the Keep Downey Beautiful cleanup last month on Saturday. It would have been Saturday the 16th as well. We were in the north part of Downey at the park and ride lot off of Lakewood and the 5 freeway, and we had almost 60 people out there right after the rain. So I know Lisa Fox was out there from Parks and Rec, or I'm sorry, from Public Works. I keep messing those up too. From Public Works, and Carol Rowling from Public Works as well, and they do just such a great job in organizing everything. And when I show up, it's just everything's pretty much taken care of, and I just jump in and help wherever I can. And you guys do a great job with those, and thank you so much. With that said, as previously mentioned, the next one will be on March 16th, which will be at Independence Park. Please arrive 10 to 15 minutes early so we can get equipment out to you. And again, the idea is to get in, get out, and get on with your day, so we won't keep you for more than an hour. And if you do need volunteer hours, it's a great way to earn some volunteer hours as well for those of you that have kids that need volunteer hours for their schools or whatever. On top of that, I had one other thing, the 5K. Again, great showing from everyone in the community for the TLC 5K this past Saturday. I'm finally getting over running and finishing. I know some of my colleagues started but didn't finish. But
I've heard.
yeah, just rumors. But I'm not saying names. It's not for me. I've just heard rumors. But seriously, it was a great event. Thank you to TLC for organizing it, and I know we partner with the school district for that, and they do a great job and with our Public Works and Parks and Rec and Police and Fire out there as well, helping make sure everybody had a good time, a safe time, and a fun time. So with that, I know we have a couple events coming up. We have the next cleanup I mentioned already. We have the embassies, the Chamber of Commerce is doing their anniversary luncheon on Thursday, the 28th at noon. I'm sure that there are tickets still available, maybe not a few. So if you want If you want to get it, hurry up before they sell out. And we have a couple of CDBG and home community meetings. We have one tomorrow at noon in the library. We have another one that is on Saturday, the 9th of March at the Space Center at 10 in the morning, and another one on March 14th, which is a Thursday evening, and that'll also be at the Space Center. So you don't have to go to all three of those, but please attend one of them. Your comments are very important to us as far as how we take that grant money and allocate it to the different programs within the city. And one other thing I did attend that I slipped my mind, but last night we had the Rancho, the South Campus of Rancho Los Amigos, the CEQA meeting for last night. That was at the Barbara Riley Center. That was well attended as well. Although thank you to you and your staff for a great job presenting and also getting all the other partners involved and making sure that the community was well informed. And with that, that concludes my comments. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to Mayor Pro Tem Blanca Pacheco.
Thank you. Thank you, and welcome everyone to our council meeting. It's always a pleasure seeing everyone here in attendance. A couple of events that I attended on February 15th and 16th, council member Frometa and I, we attended the USC Building Capacity for Leaders Executive Forum. This was a great forum. It taught us leadership skills. It taught us decision making and the science of decision making. So it was a great forum that taught us a lot of information, so that way we can become better leaders for our city. So that was extremely worthwhile, and it was a forum that I truly enjoyed attending. On February 17th, Mayor Rick Rodriguez and we attended the Downey Rose Float Association for the installation of the new board members. So I want to congratulate all the new board members, and also want to congratulate Jeremy Clifton, who is now the new president for the Downey Rose Float Association. Saturday, we did have a busy day. We started off at the TLC walk run. Some of us walked and ran. I did finish it. I promise it wasn't me that did not finish the walk and run. Also on Saturday, Mayor Rick Rodriguez and we attended the Northwest Downey Little League opening day. That's always a great event, seeing those little kids getting ready for baseball season. So it's a true pleasure, and it's something that I truly enjoy about being on City Council. Also, later that evening, I attended the Boy Scouts of America dinner. So I just spoke a little bit about being involved in the community, and I think it's truly important to be involved in the community. I started off my involvement in the community as a member of the Kiwanis Club of Downey. It's something for everyone to be involved with, but also to instill in our youth to be involved in the community, so that way when they get older, it's already in their, as we've heard, I think Mayor Rick Rodriguez or Sean uses the term, in their DNA. So it's something in Downey, but it's important for us as parents to instill that in our youth. We've already heard a couple of upcoming events, like the Downey Chamber of Commerce. If you don't have your ticket or tickets and you're interested, you can see Michael Calvert, who is in the back. Please raise your hand. All right. Also, the Downey Rose Float Association is having their fundraiser. Tickets are $40. It's 80s murder mystery. So they're recommending that everybody dress up in their 80s gear, whatever that may be. And tickets, like I said, were $40. You can purchase your tickets up until tomorrow at the Barbara J. Riley Center at 7 p.m., which is when the board will be having their meeting. Thereafter, the tickets will go slightly up to, I believe, $45, but right now they're $40. So if you're interested in going, please purchase your tickets again tomorrow at the Barbara J. Riley Center at 7 p.m. And that concludes my comments, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. City Manager Levis, could you tell us how you used to dress back in the 80s? Because she is going to, the only two of us know how to dress back in the 80s.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me to sit in this seat. And they pretty much said it all already. By the time you get to me, that's one thing great about our council. You know, in our city, we attend a lot of events, and on a lot of events, all five are there. At least every event, we have one person there. So I'm very fortunate to have such a good council. The Little League, as Blanca mentioned, you know, I come across a guy that I coached when he was 8 years old, and now he's on the board of directors coaching his 8-year-old. And so that's the city we are. You know, one of the things I've always mentioned during my time as being elected in our city is that I really, I cherish our youth. Because I have a large family, grandkids, I understand that they really are our future. And so with that in mind, we had a very outstanding military service day, the very first annual military service day. And we worked on this thing for a long time. Calvary Chapel Downey was very gracious and allowed us to use the facility for free. We used the entire facility there, the church, the parking lot, the classrooms, meeting rooms, conference rooms. We had over 200 juniors and seniors from all high schools in Downey. They came to talk and listen to all branches of military service and hear about going to college and having zero college debt at their completion of service. And so I was very proud of that. I actually worked with the Lieutenant Colonel to create a video to report back to the Army on what a success this has been for our city and to encourage other elected officials to do the same thing. I too was at the TLC 5K Love Run, and Love Run and in walking together. Let's see, recently I've been invited to speak at a couple of Cal State locations, Cal State Dominguez Hills and Cal State Los Angeles, and the same thing, talking about the idea of what's to come. They finish college and then what? What do they do? And so I try to motivate them in order to start looking for a job now, maybe making the connections while they're in college with that intern position or position, entry-level position. I had a group of kids from China, from the Canton province last week, tour City Hall. Our fire department, police department, every floor in City Hall, our library, our theater. And it was amazing to see these kids that at the end of the tour, and they saw all the high-speed police stuff and all the high-speed fire stuff and all the blueprints and traffic cameras, and we should be very proud of our city, a lot of good stuff. And when I asked the kids if they had any questions or could do anything else for them, they said, well, since you're going to tear down the library, can we have a book? And I said, well, they're not for sale. No, we want you to give us a book. They were more concerned about our books than anything else. I just found that intriguing, these Chinese students, that they were so into, the library was their favorite part of their tour, you know, so. I'm happy to promote, or to announce that our local private high school, St. Pius Matthias, that's on the tail end of our city, has just recently been granted the property adjacent to them by the County of Los Angeles. Janice Hahn specifically came and granted that property use for $1 a year. That's unheard of in today's world, where a county such as Los Angeles, as large as LA is, and they gave it to a Catholic school to use for parking and for their sports facility. That was pretty amazing, so I'm very proud of Supervisor Hahn. She does a lot of good things for us. We had a couple of ribbon cuttings. Our two most recent companies, Playdate and LA Taco, and we cut the ribbons this past few weeks. You know, one of the things I enjoy doing as a mayor is that when we open a new business, I send them a personal letter myself, welcoming them to our city, because they are the thriving part of our community. They make things happen. So that's it for me. Let's do some presentations. So do we have a Jose Bautista? Oh, thanks. Come on up. I want to tell you, obviously, you've heard a little about our council and what we do. Hang right there, buddy. Thank you. You heard a little about our council. One of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to recognize certain people within our community that do certain things just because it's the right thing to do. Not because they're getting paid to do it, not because they're getting asked to do it. They're doing it because it's the right thing to do. So Mr. Bautista saw an American flag laying on the ground on Firestone Boulevard in Lakewood. And just because it's the right thing to do, he picked it up. Well, I heard that story, and I said, you know, my children fought for that flag. My uncles fought for that flag. My brothers fought for that flag. And so I'm very proud of that flag. So when the resident called our office and said, I want to tell you about a guy that picked up a flag right in the middle of traffic, I thought, you know what, That's our servant's heart of work for this council meeting. So, Mr. Batista, I'd like to say a few words. Tell why you did what you did.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jose Bautista. As I was driving on Firestone, I noticed that there was a flag laying on the street. I decided to pick it up. One, because I do serve in the military. I'm in the Army. And I decided to pick it up because I know what it means. So, picked it up. I saw it was a nice flag. Told my wife, hey, look what I found. I need to return this. So I decided to call. I know it was a holiday, so I kind of kept it for one extra day. That was kind of nice. But other than that, I was able to call. A couple of days later, they called me to say thank you. And thank you.
Yeah, good job. So how many people in this audience are connected to a veteran somehow? Parents, brothers, sisters, kids, cousins? See? That's your community. So, Jose, in recognition of your efforts and selfless dedication, always going above and beyond for others, your heartfelt efforts and accomplishments have been an enormous value to our community and have helped to further the common goal of making our city a better place. I have this for you, this City of Downey. Thank you. And you know what the challenge coin is, right? Yes. The challenge coin. So to do true military tradition, let me have your hand. Thank you, my coin. Thank you. And then you get one of these cool guy pins. There's City of Downey. Make sure you wear it all the time when you see a Downey police officer. Keep the window down and put that pin out there. I didn't know you were a veteran. Yes. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Thank you. What branch?
Army.
There you go, Army, brother. Ooh, there you go. All right. So is there Elisa Ruiz, third grade teacher, Ward Elementary in the audience? And then also, if I can call Davino Kansuji to help me. The next awards that we received is Downey's Finest. People that do certain things in our city because they're the finest of the finest. Please. Davino, these are your people. Sorry. Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. Why don't we call our 3 Downey's Finest awardees up here, please. Doug Babcock. Louis Marin and Paul Dunlap. Maybe we should preface this by Ms. Ruiz kind of telling what these 3 guys did.
Good evening. These 3 guys, I'm lucky enough to also work for the City of Downey as well, so I did know Doug pretty closely from working with him. And just so happened one evening, I was leaving my classroom pretty late at night, busy day grading, taking home a basket of papers that never actually made it in my car. They were on the top of my car when I drove into Lakewood Boulevard. So there they go across Lakewood Boulevard at night. So what do I do but reach out to a friend, and they were so kind enough to stop traffic, pick up all of my papers, and I got back almost every single one. So I'm so, so grateful for their dedication to their city and taking the time out of their busy day to just take a second and help out a teacher in need. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. So, as a new director, I am very fortunate to have dedicated and hardworking employees in the Public Works Department. So these 3 gentlemen, Doug, Louis, and Paul, are no exceptions. Doug has been with the City of Downey for more than 5 years now. He is one of our facilities maintenance workers, lead workers. And over the last 5 years, Doug has developed a great working relationship with the school district. So when Ms. Ruiz needed that help, the first person that came to her mind was, of course, Doug. Even though Doug was not involved in street maintenance, he took it upon himself. He picked up his phone. He called Louis and Paul, who were working out on the streets at that time. Louis and Paul were able to come out, and they helped resolve the issue. But I guess this is really a great example of how Doug would go above and beyond his normal day-to-day responsibilities in order to serve the community. Louis has also been with the city for more than 5 years now. He is a maintenance worker assigned to the street section. Two things that stand out when it comes to Louis' work ethic. One is his great positive attitude, and two is his willingness to learn and work. Louis never complains about anything. He goes about his business, completing all his tasks that are assigned to him. In fact, at the end of each workday, Louis can be seen in the office at the maintenance yard looking for more work order requests or assignments to complete before he leaves for the day. He's definitely one of the most dedicated and hardworking employees in the department. And last but not the least is Paul. Paul has been with the city for more than, 40 years? Almost? Close. So almost 40 years. He's one of our street maintenance lead workers. Over the last 40 years, Paul has pretty much done it all, from fixing potholes, damaged sidewalks, repairing traffic signals and street lights, even tree trimming and maintaining landscaping and irrigation. But that's not all. Very few people are aware that back in 1996, Paul received a service award from the Downey Police Department for assisting police officers apprehend a suspected criminal. That's community service at its finest. So congratulations, Doug, Louis, and Paul, and thank you for your service to the city and the community.
I'll just read this real quick and we give these out here. As unsung heroes, your extraordinary everyday efforts to do the right thing and your commitment to excellence in your work, all while being humble in your actions, is what makes you Downey's finest. Thank you for furthering our common goal of making our city a better place for all. Given this day, 26th of February, by Mayor Rick Rodriguez. Take a picture real quick. Good job, sir. Now, if I can call my friend and yours, Chief Milligan, to come and join me up here. My friend and yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of City Council, City Manager Levis, Assistant City Manager, Mr. Escui, and friends and family here today. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you to 7 of our newest police officers. A few years back, we decided that we wanted to take advantage of an opportunity to showcase the great folks that we're bringing to the city to work as police officers here for you and to support the community. And it's been a very successful program going forward. It's a great time for them to be recognized, for their families to recognize them. So we have them here tonight. So I'd like to just start by calling them one at a time. First, Officer Jacob Salcido. Jacob, you want to come on up? So Jacob was born in the city of Orange. He graduated from Esperanza High School in 2013. He currently has an associate's degree in criminal justice and plans on attaining his bachelor's degree. Jacob graduated from the Orange County Sheriff's Academy last year and is currently out on patrol in the city of Downey now on night shift, right? Yes, sir. So, Jacob Salcedo, folks. Next, we have Officer Manuel Castro. Manuel grew up in the city of Long Beach, where he graduated from Cabrillo High School. Prior to joining the Downey Police Department, he worked in the banking industry. Manuel is currently attending Cal State Long Beach, pursuing his bachelor's degree in the field of criminal justice. And he just recently completed his field training program and is out working day shift now on the streets in the city of Downey. Welcome, Mr. Castro. Next, we have Officer Patrick Skoll. Patrick also grew up in the city of Long Beach, where he graduated from Woodrow Wilson High School back in 2011. Seems like such a long time ago, right? 2011. After high school, he attended Cal State Long Beach, where he earned a bachelor's degree in kinesiology. Patrick graduated from the Orange County Sheriff's Academy in October of last year and is soon to be completing his field training program. He's most of the way along now, so he'll be out on his own here in just a short period of time. So I invite you to welcome Officer Patrick Skoll. Then we have Patrick's Academy mate, Officer Victor Ugarte. Victor grew up in Santa Fe Springs, where he graduated from Santa Fe High School in 2014. After high school, he enlisted in the United States Marine Corps and is still an active duty reservist, holding the rank of Lance Corporal. Victor graduated from the Orange County Sheriff's Academy, as I mentioned, in October of last year, and is also scheduled to soon to complete his field training. So he'll be out there on his own here in a short period of time as well. So I invite you to welcome Officer Victor Ugarte. Next, we have Officer Christian Ordono. Christian grew up in the San Gabriel Valley, where he attended Bishop Hamont High School. He's also a member of the school's Football Hall of Fame. After high school, he attended junior college locally before receiving a scholarship to play football at Missouri Western State, where he ultimately obtained a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. He joined our department in December of last year after previously being employed as a public safety officer at the University of Southern California. And he is currently on his field training program, and we look forward to him completing that soon and being out on the street on his own here in the near future. So I invite you to welcome Officer Christian Ordono. Next, we have our two most recent graduates. First, Officer Corey Igawa. Corey grew up in Cypress and graduated Cypress High School in 2011. He attended the Orange County Sheriff's Academy, where they graduated at the end of the year. And let's see, he graduated about a month ago, I apologize. During the academy, he excelled in many areas, especially in the field of physical fitness, where he earned the top physical fitness award in the academy, scoring the highest of all recruits in a combined series of tests during the entire period of the academy. So that's a great accomplishment, Corey. Well done. Corey's currently in his field training program, and we estimate his completion to be in 4 to 5 months. So I invite you to welcome Officer Corey Igawa. And last but not least, Officer Daniel Perez. He and Corey attended the academy together. So, Daniel grew up in the city of Southgate, where he graduated from Paramount High School. After high school, he attended Cal State Long Beach, where he earned a degree in business management. Daniel also worked in the banking industry before joining the police department. As I mentioned, he graduated the academy a few weeks ago and is currently in the middle of his field training program. And we're also looking forward to him completing and being out there on his own here shortly. So, Officer, I invite you to welcome Officer Daniel Perez. I'd just like to thank you all for being here and celebrating this. We take great pride in the members of our police department, as you do with the police department in your community. So we thank you for allowing us the opportunity to welcome our new folks to the city. Thank you for taking the time to recognize them, sir. It means a lot to us and to them and to our families. So thank you very much. We appreciate it.
So, gentlemen, welcome to our family. Thank you very much. That challenge coin you hold in your hand, it's from me to you guys. God bless you guys. Good luck for you. Be safe. Thank you. Yeah. Hey guys.
Yeah, we'll go in front of the podium, guys. I'll just stand back.
Get to the back. Welcome to Downey. Welcome to Downey.
Let me see. Let's see what we have next here. Coming up, oh, Claudia Fermenta.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. How's everybody doing? Isn't it wonderful to see our new police officers? Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for your service, and thank you for the great things you're going to do in this community. And thank you for your family members that are here supporting this decision. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. We appreciate you. One of my brothers is a police officer with the LAPD, and so, of course, law enforcement is always close and dear to my heart, so thank you. I wanted to, I forgot during my comments to thank Public Works. You know, we've had tremendous rains over the last several weeks, and because of that, our streets have had a lot of potholes, and Delfino's crew has been very, very busy over the last several weeks filling those potholes. So thank you, Delfino. Thank you and your crew for maintaining our city and doing such a great job. Thank you. Moving along, I want to say I think today marks the 57th day, but who's counting, right? Marks the 57th day since I was sworn in to this position. And not only am I really loving what I'm doing, which is interacting with Downey residents and listening to their concerns, but certainly getting to know our fire department better and looking forward to continuing to know our law enforcement individuals in a better way. But I want to tell you that I've been appointing different people in the community to different commissions in different committees because it's important to us. And tonight's appointment is very special, like the other ones have been, but this one in particular is very special because I have known this family for close to 20 years, and they've definitely have seen my children. They have seen me give birth to my children and raise my children in this community. And the gentleman that I'm referring to is Dr. Dan Fox, who is here in the audience. Dr. Dan, would you stand? And Debbie Fox over here too. As well as in the audience, I have Dr. Fox's daughter, Lauren Fox, and her husband, Sam, and the three precious girls. And Lauren, by the way, is a teacher for our Downey school. So thank you, Lauren, and thank you to those teachers that are present in the audience. Dan Fox has been involved in this community for a very long time. Not only he's had his chiropractic office for many years. He has been in various clubs and community organizations over the years. He's been past president of the Gangs Out of Downey Club, and he's currently the president of the Rotary Club, is that correct? Past president of the Rotary Club, yes. And he also has been involved with YMCA, the Downey Symphonic Society, Meals on Wheels, the Downey Rose Float Association. He's an Eagle Scout as well. And he's had his chiropractic office for about 35 years. And so when you talk about commitment to the community and somebody that has also the heart of a servant, is right here. And so when I thought about people that I wanted to ask, because again, we asked them if they would like to be part of a commission or a board. It's done all in volunteer basis. And so I was really hoping that Dan would say yes, because he knows our community, he knows the fabric of our community, and he's also, Debbie and Dan Fox have been involved in First Baptist Church of Downey for many years, in the worship team and many other ministries. And so when you talk about servants and servants' hearts, here they are. So it is my pleasure, Dan, to appoint you today to the Public Works Commission. And I would hope that you can say a few words.
I'd be delighted.
And here you go. We're going to go up in the front and take a picture.
I want to thank Claudia for her willingness to have me be a part of the Downey community family of the city council and what they mean and how they support you, the citizens of Downey. And I appreciate the opportunity to serve you as well as be a part of the city staff. Thanks so much for having me.
So I have an item here that's not actually on the agenda. I wanted to show you something. A couple of years ago, I started working with the foster kids and the kids that, we have a nice sized unified school district of over 20,000 children. 8% of those kids are homeless. And so my council colleague, Alex Saab, and myself, we wanted to do a little more than that. So we went out and started shopping around for different agencies that could help us really go after the homeless population for children. And so I want to invite up our whole child executive director, And I asked her if she'd just show us a few things, what she's been doing, but they've been placing our children, providing rapid rehousing for our kids. And so I really would like to just take this moment to show you a few things.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. We're going to have the presentation. Wonderful. All right. As Mr. Mayor had mentioned, we are working with the city to prevent homelessness, especially for families and children. So let me tell you a little bit about the Whole Child. My name is Constanza Pachon. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Whole Child. We are a 60-year-old organization providing mental health, housing, nutrition, and parenting services across the southeast region of Los Angeles. Our mission is to help families raise emotionally and physically healthy children and for them to have a place to call home. Our clients, we basically work with mothers with children. And last year, we served over 3,500 families in the region. Our impact, we work in our housing department. We worked last year with over 1,000 homeless families in this region. We successfully placed in permanent housing 244 of them. Altogether, taking more than 500 children out of the streets. We were able to achieve an 11% reduction in family homelessness in this region. With Downey, 2 years ago, or about a year ago, we were approached by the mayor and council member Saab, given the experience we have had together working for the homeless families of Downey. And they were very generous, the city was very generous to trust the Whole Child with a grant to help the families of Downey that were facing homelessness. In Downey, we have served a total of, we have filled a total of 500 calls or more, and we have been able to serve 85 families successfully through rapid rehousing, crisis, and prevention. We are halfway through our grant with the city, and we are very excited to continue our work together. As I mentioned before, we have fielded over 500 referrals for homeless families, a lot of them from our TLC friends, and we continue to work together to end or combat family homelessness, especially for children in the region. So the numbers and the narrative are one thing, but another one are the stories of the families that this generous support from the city of Downey have enabled us to do. We have been able to work with a lot of families that you might not think are homeless. Homeless families have a different face than what many people feel homelessness looks like. And we wanted to bring an example of that to you. A family from here in Downey that was facing homelessness and just needed a hand up. They don't need a handout, they need a hand up. And that's what, with the partnership with the city, we were able to do. So I'd like to bring to the podium Eddie Nava and Brittany Bauman. And they will tell us a little bit about their story and how they became homeless and we were able to help them.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. This is our family. This is my husband, Eddie. Now, as she said, I'm Brittany Bowen, and Emmanuel, and Caitlin, and Kaya. And we have another, I have my stepson, Edward Nava, and he's 17. He's not here tonight, obviously, but we just want to say thank you so much to the Whole Child. Definitely, we faced some hardship, you know, as we all can encounter. So such a blessing to have the resources, you know, provided by the city to fund the Whole Child. It came in definitely in such a perfect time for our family. Not only did they aid us with housing, placement, and they also linked us up with a really, really caring and just amazing representative who helped our family. And his name is Robert Munoz. And with the help, financially, it just, you know, helped us to get our, you know, that next step to secure our housing. So right now, we're currently living in our home, a bigger home. We just moved in December, and everything is looking up. And, you know, before I was skeptical and nervous, and my pride was in the way. Our pride was in the way, as, you may know. But when you put that aside and you honestly pray, God will provide people, places, and things to not only help you in your situation, and it's okay. And, so thank you so much for giving us hope and a new start. And we're so grateful. So grateful for everything. Thank you, guys. You ready? Hold on, okay?
So, I've always said this is how you fix our homeless problem. You earn your way out. And she said the magic ingredients was prayer. I've been saying it forever and ever, right?
Yes.
It works,
Yes.
right?
Most definitely.
Yeah. So, Eddie Nava and Brittany Bowen, I want to read something to you guys. In celebration for your courage and your perseverance in the face of adversity, best wishes and continued happiness and success in all you endeavor and to achieve, given this day by my colleagues and myself. God bless you guys. There's a little challenge going for you as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I won't forget too. Hold on.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Yeah, let's do it this way. Come on, Alex, get up here. Come on, Ed. Were you? Oh, we'll see you down there. Say, one for Warren. Right. Please, another round of applause, whole child, and it's another success story. Oh, okay. Let's take a 5-minute break. Oh, brother. You, Sean. All right. Is it my imagination, but are young people just taller than before? I had to tell
We're
you,
shrinking, Mayor.
that one officer from Beaumont, by the way, that kid's a giant.
Yeah, he was a big guy.
He's a big boy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, well you wouldn't know. Little guys like me, we don't recognize those things. Okay, now it's time for a non-agenda public comment. Before we begin a non-agenda public comment period, I'd like to remind the members of the audience and the city meeting rules contained in the Downey Municipal Code. Members of the audience who wish to address the city council during a non-agenda public comment are prohibited from engaging in any conduct that disrupts or interferes with the meeting, such as yelling, screaming, cheering, or whistling. If a speaker engages in conduct that disrupts or interferes with the meeting, I will ask the city manager to have the speaker removed from the chambers until the end of the non-agenda public comment period. I remind speakers that each person has 5 minutes to speak on non-agenda items, and that your comments will be addressed to me and not to any other council member or staff member. Please state your name for the record. Those who wish to speak may now come forward.
Have we met our challenge of First Amendment? Did you not hear what the mayor addressed before all of you? Why this challenge? Why to this issue of First Amendment? Well, I believe that the mayor here, when it comes to the statute that abuts upon sensitive areas of basic First Amendment and freedoms, is engaging in unconstitutional protected speech. For the Brown Act identifies the challenge under 54950, which states we have the right to criticize those who fail to make things correct on our behalf. We are the legislative body of that Brown Act, and would potentially chill speech within my presence or absence is how the mayor engages in regulation, content, freedom of speech, and as you observe, it is delicate and vulnerable, as well as supremely precious. But in our society, free speech rights. So let's start off here. We already know that most Americans have been misled by Kamala Harris, who smokes weed. All of us have been misled by Eric Garcetti, who failed to provide adequate, appropriate infrastructure and brought it into our neighborhoods, in which homeless people now engage to live on the outskirts and inskirts of our city. And so, under California Constitution, Article 1, Section 2, as I said, the challenge is whether or not Mayor Rodriguez is telling us the truth. I was at a police commission in LA this morning, and a Jew by the name of Steve Soboroff, who is a developer who makes close to $100 million, said to me, "Step out." And I said, "Why? Is it because you're offended because I am speaking about gays and lesbians? Because your son's a fag?" I have nothing against gay people. I'm against what the Bible, as Mr. Rodriguez quotes every time. God hates homosexuals. Even in the service, thank you, Donald Trump. And even I dislike homosexuality because it's not my preference. But I do acknowledge people for who they are, content-based, not being a queer or steer. You're better off putting it in the closet Look what Obama's done with our military. And you want to say America's great? We're going to make it great. You're going to despoil it by maliciously making allegations and lies under the First Amendment, as brought by us by Dean D. Pergerson, a district judge, 10 years ago, under Hunt versus the City of Los Angeles, Matt Dow versus the City of Los Angeles, David Salzberg Zumadog versus the City of Los Angeles. And now we have that issue at the board with Eric Prevrin, who sued the City of Los Angeles for engaging to falsely imprison him simply for engaging in First Amendment, along with myself, because we said, we want the wall, we want to build a wall. We want people here legally, not illegally. And I want what my entitlements are. Free benefits, because I'm disabled. Free goddamn benefits, because people who are disabled and elderly can't get their entitlements as American citizens. So, again, the hell with Congress.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker. Good evening.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. My name is Thomas Smith.
Welcome, Tom.
I'm a lifelong Downey resident in District 4, and I've got two complaints right now. The potholes. Sick and tired of driving on streets that are turning into gravel roads. It's atrocious. I've lived in the same house for 62 years, my entire life. And not once have I seen them repave one street in particular. It's always been left to the side. That's Clancy Avenue between Gotham and Irwin Grove. It's turning into gravel. It needs to be addressed. And I know there's other streets in Downey. Let's maybe shift some funds around and get them into the residential streets instead of putting islands on arterial streets. My second beef, and the one that brought me down here, was the damn coyote problem that's been going on. I'm tired of hearing about pets being torn apart and left lying on the ground to be discovered by children. And it's time for the city to step up and start doing something about that nuisance. Those animals are wild. They don't have any place in Downey. I saw my first coyote about 5 years ago down by Doty Middle School. I'm sorry, I refer to it as East because that's where I went to school. And a systematic approach to dealing with this problem would be a great control on the animal population and would help alleviate a lot of the problems. One of the personal things I think is going on is I think the coyotes are coming up through the storm drains and popping out through the storm drain inlets. I've looked at the map on the Downey City Council pages, and it looks to me like there's a lot of clusters and near those main east-west drains. So that's all I really have to say.
So, Tom, if I can call you Tom, I would tell you that you're right. This coyote problem is the issue. We're planning, as Councilman Saab mentioned, we're planning to do a town hall meeting and have that discussion. We've developed a coyote management plan that's been submitted. It's been approved by our council. Our next step is now we actually started this about 18 months ago. We started the idea of recruiting volunteers to come help us with the management plan, but our homeless issue became more of a priority for me. And so I launched my efforts toward that direction. So I kind of took my hand off the ball when it came to the coyote management plan. But now you're right. I agree with you. Last night I was at a neighborhood watch on Via Rio Nito over in District 3. As I was there, one of the residents asked me I'd come and walk the rear bed with him at 8 o'clock at night. And so he's a cop for LAPD, and he and I walked through the brush, and sure enough, we found the opening in the fence where the coyotes are coming through them in the tracks. So you're right, it's a problem, and we're trying to get to it as fast as we can. Unfortunately, we're not only fighting coyotes, we're also fighting people that fight us over the coyote issue. So there's so many cities that have been sued into the hundreds of thousands of dollars because of animal rights. So we wanted to make sure we were sue-proof. We wanted to make sure we did everything we could, all of our due diligence, to make sure we spent our taxpayer dollars wisely before we go out there and start trapping. And I can tell you that, the trapping issue is not off the table. It's expensive, it's cumbersome, and it's not very high results. And I spoke to trappers myself, and it's not very high results, only because these are very, very smart animals. The only really way is almost to herd them out of our area. And so, but I invite you to the town hall meeting we'll have. Is it here, John, here? It's here in this chambers and on the April
2nd.
April 2nd. So please come and join us and help us. We need all the volunteers to help us as well. But yes, you're right. The city needs to put some effort towards that. In regards to the potholes, as you know, it's been raining like crazy. And the poor public works, these guys are trying to fix them as fast as they can. I took some notes here as you were talking, so we'll have some guys to come out and take a look at that as fast as possible. But the reality is there's just potholes everywhere, and we're trying to get to them as fast as we can, as well as pave the streets that are on the master plan of pavement in between the rainstorms. But I hope I addressed your questions, Tom.
Yes, and I'll let you know that I work in soils and engineering, and we do a lot of paving ourselves, so I know the problems.
Thank you.
Just that it needs to be maintained.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for cooperation, Tom.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I just want to stop by and give you a brief update. Friday was the day bills were due at the State Senate and Assembly. Senator Archuleta did submit 14 bills, and I will be emailing each of you to let you know what bills he did introduce. So, and also I was appointed field deputy for Veterans and Military Affairs.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And for healthcare.
Right on.
So I will be forming roundtables. Your son is actually, we're looking at your son to join the military roundtable.
Great.
For veterans, and not only focus on homeless veterans, but on the health care that they need. And in regards to health care, I'll be forming roundtables on that as well. So just wanted to let you know.
Fantastic. Thank you, Scott.
Hi, good evening. My name is Edgar Jimenez. As Mr. Smith was saying, I don't know him, but I believe we might be neighbors because the same two issues. I came for the same two things. Clancy Avenue, I live on the corner of Big B and Clancy. And I mean, like he said, it's turning into just little stones here and there. When cars pass by, it makes a loud noise, the potholes, things like that. So the reason why I came, though, was this is my first time, so I'm a little nervous. First time to ever be in some sort of city meeting, but I thought it was important for me to come because the coyote issue. Last week I woke up to a half a cat in my front lawn. I brought pictures with me if anyone would like to see them. They're pretty gross, but there's Downey Elementary School. A lot of kids passed by. I'm sure a lot of them got to see it before I woke up and saw that. Nonetheless, I have a 2-year-old daughter, and she plays in the backyard. We have a little swing set. I'm out there with her all the time, but I thought of something where a scenario where, for instance, when we have family come over, I'm not outside with the kids. It's usually the kids are playing tag in the backyard, what have you, and usually at dusk or so. And if one of these coyotes was to come about, I've heard that they are pretty much afraid of adults, but to a child, they could very easily attack. So I understand. I overheard what you said about the meeting. I think we have an app that I use,
Yes.
Nextdoor app. I find it very useful, and a lot of people have been spreading the word about coming to the meeting. So I plan to come to that as well. But I'm glad someone else addressed it, and I second what Mr. Smith said. So whatever I can do to help out, I came here to learn about what we can do. And I probably will see, you'll see more of me around, just to.
Thank you, Edgar. And I will tell you that 2016, and I went to a variety of different cities along with our assistant city manager, John Scooey. He and I went to Culver City and Torrance and Whittier and all the different cities to see what they were doing. We went there, we went to learn about the coyote management issue. How do we manage this issue? And it's taken a long time. I agree, it's way too long. I live here on the golf course, so there's never a day I don't see a coyote. But at the same time, we also know now what we didn't know then. We know now how to manage the situation. We know how to haze, how to report. We know now that you're right, the taller you are, and the louder you scream, the more they'll go away. However, if you break contact with them and you seem like you're afraid, they're going to attack you, no doubt. So, but we don't want to send fear and panic into our residents. We want to be able to educate and then respond, and that's the next step for us, because we've done the research. We put the plan together. It was approved by council. We put the website together, the county management plan website together, and now the response. We contacted Fish and Wildlife. We asked them to come out, help teach us, and then set pockets of response. So if there's certain areas, like for example in your areas, then we'd have 3 or 4 volunteers that should go saturate that area, looking for the idea of coyotes to kind of scare them away. That's the next step. And then the next step after that would be into trapping, and who knows after that. But it escalates based on the plan. And that's kind of the plan we want to follow, so we don't get sued, so we don't have to worry about things like that. We follow the law. So, but thank you, Edgar. I definitely encourage you to come back, because we definitely want your help.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. State your name.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Julia Emerson with the Southern California Gas Company, 9240 Firestone Boulevard.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm very glad to announce that renewable natural gas is now starting to be injected in the natural gas pipes operated by the Southern California Gas Company. We're very excited about this new technology. It's been it's a way of capturing methane that naturally occurs, that you capture it from the dairies, you capture it from the landfills or old corn stalks, other waste. So you take natural sources and capture the methane and turn it into fuel that can fuel your stove or your water heater. We are so excited about it that we are actually going to ask the Public Utilities Commission to allow us to offer an optional renewable natural gas rate structure, or tariff as we call it. So completely optional. Any business or residential customer eventually would be offered this if the Public Utilities Commission approves. And any customer could opt in and pay a little bit more for their natural gas and help to develop more natural gas and use more natural gas from these renewable sources. The exciting part is that renewable natural gas is not a fossil fuel. It's renewable forever from these natural sources. So we are jazzed about it. We will be seeing renewable natural gas coming in the pipes to Downey customers. And so this will affect residents and businesses. It's indistinguishable in terms of how it burns on your stove, but the sources are wonderful and good for the environment. So we're very excited that residents would be able to have that choice and retain that choice of both electricity and natural gas. But with all this new technology that's going on for clean technology, you don't have to choose between what's good for the environment and what's affordable. With renewable natural gas, you can have both, because it will be more affordable than electricity, and actually, depending on the source, cleaner than electricity. It's a game changer. We're jazzed, and we thank you for a few moments.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm Art Gonzalez from District 4. 4 things. Well, she touched electricity and gas. Currently, I'm paying $10 to remove that smart meter per month. But that's not what I'm here for. There's a couple of things. I saw back there you had these flyers. Okay, the flyers in regard to the mosquito alert, the West Nile virus thing. Here's the thing. Starting right now, I think that this is the right time to start a campaign and put this in front of everybody's, because there's rain. Even though it's been cold, so less people have been going out of the backyards and looking at the danger spots and looking at all those danger spots. Water has been sitting there. Mosquitoes are growing. And I would say, you know what, for the season, this could be like the first generation of mosquitoes. So if we don't take care of it now, that could be multiplying into something more severe for all of us in the spring when we go back out to the yards. So we need to inform the community, get out there. I didn't see one single person you had a full house out here, not one person took anything like this, a brochure, okay? That's one thing. The second, did anybody here feel that earthquake this morning at 2?
Yes, sir.
It was a nice awakening thing. I was up for about 45 minutes. I wasn't worried. I was thinking as to what we can do to prevent and be ready for that. We already have CERT, Community Emergency Response Team. I think also we should start kind of a program, having them more involved in letting people know to be ready, be aware, and don't wait. I saw a lot of traffic today up on the 605. Maybe as the gateway with other communities, we need to come up with an emergency or some kind of a system in regard to, remember when they had that red, orange, yellow process thing? Well, guess what? Maybe we need to start focusing on something similar to that in case of an earthquake, so that people can definitely stay off the highway, number one. Two, maybe if some cities are more damaged than others, for example, this would happen, over in Norwalk? But you know what? Let's put it out there more immediate so that people don't go near the area, stay away, do something like that. I think that's about it.
All right, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Noting no further speakers, non-agenda public comment is now closed. Consent calendar, any council members like to remove or abstain any item on the consent calendar?
Second.
Public comment, there any comments from the public on the consent calendar items?
So, since we're on the topic of capital improvement, and we already know that potholes and failed street pavement rehabilitation has not worked, what is Delfino doing to correct this pavement rehabilitation problem? It's been years since many of you who are homeowners have observed that your streets are not getting paved. And so we have to question, where is the money going other than only on particular blocks versus doing every quadrant? Isn't there 4 quadrants? Oh no, 5 quadrants. But Mr. Saab could pay for his. He's an attorney. But the issue here is whether or not you plan to fix the whole problem, Mr. Livas. We're tired of potholes. I want to see the street that I have a mailing address at, Ms. Pacheco, repaved.
Mr. Chairman, please refer to me, please. Talk to me, please.
And so, Mr. Mayor,
thank you.
As you are aware now, that since the last time you were out there trying to correct the water flow with bad engineering, which you contracted, I demand you get back out there and figure out why the water puddles 5 feet from the gutter curve in our aprons, and I have to step out in 1 foot of water and I'm disabled. Why? I don't see anyone else here jerking off, complaining about that, but I am, because I'm tired of it. I want to see improvement. And I demand capital improvement to match every dollar of tax dollars I spend in my small city. not like that promised by the CEQA under their new project to bring in a train and more traffic and more density of vehicles, in which we do not want. Otherwise, our street pavement program will never happen. On top of that, I'm glad to see that we're investing in a trained dog to assist with our police officers. But you see, one little dog can cost you $35,000. $35,000 for one dog. And I demand that this city gets insurance for that one dog, so that we don't have to pay more than what it's going to cost to keep that dog alive. Two is looking at the Memorial Justice Assistant grant for only $24,000 for Edward Byrne or Byrne. Fine, but double it, Mr. Levos. $24,000 is chump change. You know the budget. The mayor knows the budget. The mayor said that I took $5,000 from the public when he was there making the decision to pay me $5,000 not to sue one of your councilmen for violation of my First Amendment. And at last, item 8, city's risk management. And I'm glad to know that our chief of police is going to join Chief Michael Moore with LAPD in Washington coming soon to discuss our safety and what risk management they can provide in addition to city risk management. I think independently, our city manager should be trained more about risk management due to the poor infrastructure as brought out by Mr. Smith, by Mr. Gonzalez, and the other nice speaker who spoke up on behalf of Mr. Smith regarding potholes. And since we are paying for a California Environmental Quality Act, I suggest you do a better job with it under CEQA off of Gardendale, because we're tired of the congestion. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Herman. Is there a motion and a second to approve?
Second.
Please vote.
The motion was approved unanimously.
The meeting is now adjourned in memory of Virginia State Police Trooper Lucas B. Dowell, killed in the line of duty. Attorneys Felipe Plasencia and Marina Villanelicio. Please, a moment of silence. He adjourned. I did. I went.